Hey everyone, I just wanted to make a video about my breakup, sort of kinda to vent, I guess. And I know in my last video I told you that I was dating this amazing guy, but kind of a lot has happened since then. What really happened was we got into a discussion one day about his feelings towards me, because I knew that he kind of went through a breakup before me, and he was still very much um, he had a lot of feelings for this kid, and it totally ruined him when they went through this breakup. So I knew how strong his feelings were for this kid, or they were. And I asked him if he would ever feel the same way about me that he did about this kid. And he ended up telling me, like, I'm not sure, only time can tell, stuff like that. Not really what I wanted to hear. I was kind of hoping, like, oh, I already do feel like. But he didn't lie. I mean, I guess, so that's one. But then he, we kept on talking, and he ended up telling me that he never completely loved me, which was really difficult because he meant so much to me, and I sacrificed so much for him, and I truly did care for him, and I helped him through so many struggles that he went through, and I was always there for him. And just looking back on it, knowing that everything you did, all the shit you went through, will always have meant more to you than it did to him. And, like, realizing that he never felt the same way I did about anything, it just hurt. So this is just the tip of the iceberg, okay? Next day, he told me that before he dated me, he wasn't a virgin, which he always told me he was. And I was like, okay. Yeah, a few days later, asked him when exactly it was, and it turns out that it was within the first 4 or 5 days of our relationship. Like, we dated for probably like a month and a half, and then we actually started a relationship. This was about 4 days into the relationship, meaning we've already dated for about a month and a half, and we were officially dating for about 4 days. And he, so he cheated on me with another guy. That hurt, but, like, all this shit happened, and it was so hard. And I eventually told him that, I've done a lot of thinking, and we did a lot of, quiet time, didn't talk, tried to work through it, tried to ignore each other, like, all this stuff to get over. And he felt like shit, like, for everything he did, because he didn't want to hurt me, and he told me he wanted to, like, really love me and everything, and all this stuff. He didn't really talk about cheating that much, which he really should have, because he really should have been apologizing for that, because that probably hurt the most. And, like, I realized that without even knowing it, I forgave him. Like, it wasn't a choice I made. I just knew that I didn't hold it against him, and I didn't want to hate him, and I wanted nothing more than to see us end on some sense of good terms. I don't know if we could be friends, but I just didn't want to be that whole I hate you more, I never want to talk to you ever again. Like, I didn't want that. Like, I wanted to still remain in contact, to have each other in our lives somewhat. And, like, I tried, and I was really nice, and we tried talking, and one day he told me that I needed to text him less frequently because he needed his space. And, like, I was like, what? Like, you need your space? Like, what did I do to you that makes you think you need your distance from me? Like, I didn't get that. So we went about 3 days where he completely blew me off, and I kept asking, because he said he was going to explain that later, exactly what that meant. So, like, the next day I was like, hey, and stuff, and he's like, not today. I comes in the next day and stuff, and I was like, hey, can you talk? And he's like, no, I'm so fucking pissed, I can't talk to anyone or whatever. all this stuff, and I was like, okay. And the next day I was like, are you feeling better and stuff? And he was like, yeah. So like we actually talked, and it was before I went to work. It was like I had like an hour and a half before I was due for work, and I was sitting like in the parking lot of my job. So like I had nothing to do. So we started texting, and um, like we started talking about a few things. I had a few questions for him, and like one of them was like I found out he was drunk when he cheated on me, but he never told me that. So one of my questions was, why didn't you tell me you were drunk when you cheated on me? And he came back with, well, it doesn't matter. I still cheated. It doesn't change what I did. I still fucked up, and like all this stuff. And I told him, I was like, good. Like I wanted that answer. That's a good answer. I was hoping you'd say that. And we had a few other things. And then, like, out of the blue, he's like, I'm going to offer you some, what do you call it? Criticism, some, like, supportive criticism or whatever. And I was like, okay. So he sends me this 3 text message long message rant, I guess, about my tone with him, that when I speak to him it's like demanding, and that I have a sense of power, like every time I ask a question or receive an answer, it's always like, good, that's what I wanted to hear, or this is what you should do, and all that, and like all this stuff, which I'll admit, especially lately, I was getting kind of sick of how he was treating me, so my tone may have come out like that a little. But I'm like, dude, you lied to me, you used me, you cheated on me. You're lucky I don't want to fucking rip your head off. Like, you should be happy that I forgave you. You should be happy that I'm talking to you at all. You have no right to correct my tone. And, like, I told him that. Like, I was like, my tone cannot get any nicer than that after everything you did to me. And stuff is like, you have no idea how hard I am trying to keep us on good terms and to keep us from hating each other, and I don't think you even give a crap anymore. You have absolutely no respect for my feelings anymore. You don't give a crap about me and all this shit. And like, it pretty much like went on, and he sent me this one text message, and I can't even say all the stuff it said, but it was, I'm 18 years old, and I can honestly say it was the meanest thing anyone has ever said to me before in my entire life. It was just downright cruel. It talked about how this, like, I never cared about you at all. You meant nothing to me. He called me a, pretty much just a fat chick with a dick, which was, yeah, that was awesome. All this stuff about how I never meant shit to him, and it was just all this stuff, and I was just in complete disbelief. For the first time, he hurt me, and he actually tried to. All the other times he hurt me, but it was all unintended. He wasn't personally trying to hurt me. This was totally intended to tear me apart, and I couldn't take it. 30 minutes before my shift started at work, and I'm sitting in my car completely bawling my eyes out. I was in complete disbelief. And like the whole time I'm thinking, what the fuck did I do? I'm the victim in this. He cheated on me. He did all this crap to me. He has no reason to be pissed at me and to treat me like that. And I don't know. I was just sick. And I'm running out of time. This has already gone on so long. I'm getting up towards like 9 minutes. But yeah, so I don't know, we're at the point where we're like completely not talking at all, and I'm happy, because I realize if that's the person he is, if that's what he does to the people he cares about, or to the people who care about him, and if that's the real him, then I'm happy he's not in my life, because I don't deserve that shit. Okay, I was perfect to him. I was loyal to him. I loved him. I cared about him. I was always there for him. I was amazing to him, and he completely doesn't. He completely didn't, appreciate that at all. And if that's the person he is, then I'm glad he's out of my life, because I don't deserve that. I shouldn't have to put up with that. I shouldn't have to deal with that. I shouldn't have to try to keep that in my life, because I don't deserve that in my life. So I'm going to try to keep this below 10 minutes. So I'm going to go. So yeah, if you want to share your breakup story, like leave a video response or a comment or something, or just message me if you want to talk. So